Nehemiah 13, 1 and 3, 1 through 3. On that day, they read in the book of Moshe in the audience of the people, and there they found written that the Ammonites and the Moabites should not come into the congregation of Yahuah forever. So remember, this is the point I brought out. The Ammonites and the Moabites, they were not to come in the congregation forever. So why are we going to Jordan? We're not supposed to be with them. They are not supposed to be with us. They are not the ones that's going to protect the people. We depend on the Most High, and we do what He say do. We are not to go among them, and they are not to come amongst us. Because this is the reason why. They didn't meet Yasharal, the children of Yasharal, with bread and water. But they hired Balaam against them that he should curse them. Howbeit, Yahuah turned the curse into a barakah. When the people curse us, Yahuah has a way of turning that curse into a barakah. Now it came to pass, when they had heard the Torah, that they separated from Yasharal all the mixed multitude, all of those that was of Ammon and Moab. They separated them. They're not supposed to be amongst them, but they were among them. This is Dead Sea Scrolls 4Q258. Even in the Dead Sea Scrolls, I'm reading all throughout the Dead Sea Scrolls, and I pick a couple points. It's talking about separation. And here we are. And this is showing, I pulled this one out because it's showing what we are to be doing in the wilderness. It says this is the time for studying the Torah, clearing the way in the wilderness. Here it is. We're studying Torah in the wilderness, learning, getting our righteous knowledge, what was lost. He shall instruct them to do all that is required at that time, and to separate from all those who have not turned aside from all deceit. So there are the rebels in the wilderness being separated, even in the wilderness, from the righteous. So we're seeing many separations all through the scripture. Luke 16 and 26. Now we're going to talk about the death. And here we see, and besides all this, between us and you, there is a great gulf fixed. This is what happened when you die and go to Shaul. You have the righteous separated even in Shaul from the wicked, so that those who want to pass from here to you cannot, nor can those from there pass to us. There's a great gulf fixed. There is a divide. There's a separation even in Shaul when we die. Separation is all throughout the scripture. This is Enoch 22. I'm going to read 9 and 11 and 12. It says, at that time, therefore, I required, respecting him and respecting the general judgment, saying, why is one separated from another? He answered, 3 separations have been made between the spirits of the dead, and thus have the spirits of the righteous been separated. So this is showing the righteous dead being separated from the wicked. Even in death, there is a separation that has to take place. And in the same way, likewise, are sinners separated when they die and are buried in the earth. Judgment not overtaking them in their lifetime. Why? Because scripture says when the wicked rules, they don't bring forth righteous judgment. And those that should live, they kill. And those that they need to kill, live. 12. Here their souls are separated. We see their souls are separated, and this is the time for their punishment, for suffering, and they're waiting for the great judgment. And torment, of course, will overtake them. And it says their souls will be punished and bound forever and ever. Okay, on to the parable. We know the tares and the wheat. The tares and the wheat. Well, is there a separation here? Yes, there will come a time the tares and the wheat grow together until the end. And then comes the separation. Another parable he put forth, saying, the kingdom of Shamayim is like a man who sowed good seed in the field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. But when the grain has sprouted and produced a crop, then the tares also appear. So the servants of the owners came and said to him, Sir, Did you not sow good seed in your field? How then does it have tares? He said to them, an enemy has done this. The servant said to him, do you want us to go and gather them up? But he said, no, lest while you gather up the tares, you also uproot the wheat with them. So they wanted to get rid of the tares. It's too soon. You can't take the tares up. You will pull up the wheat also, and the wheat will die with the tares. This is what he's saying. He says, let them grow together until harvest, and at the time of harvest I will say to the reapers, first gather together the tare. No pre-trib rapture. First gather together the tares, and bind them in bundles and burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. This is a separation of the tares and the wheat. Matthew 13:36 through 43. And here's the tares explained. If you didn't understand that, he goes deeper, in which I did a video on the tares and the wheat, and I'm not going to break everything down that's here. It says, Yahuah sent the multitude away and went into the house, and his disciples came to him, saying, explain to us the parables of the tares of the field. He answered and said to them, he who sows the good seed is the Son of Man. Here's the good seed, Son of Man. The field is the world. The good seed are the sons of the kingdom. So we have the sons of the kingdom being the good seed. But the tares are the sons of the wicked one. Now, which one are you? Are you the sons of the kingdom? Or are you the son of a wicked one? I hope and pray you're the son of the kingdom. The enemy who sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, and the reapers are the messengers. Therefore, as the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so it will be at the end of this age. The Son of Man will send out his messengers, and they will gather out of the kingdom all things that offend. Do you offend your brother? Do you offend your sister? Make sure you don't offend anyone. Because when you offend your brother and sister, you are offending the Most High. This is why we're not supposed to fight each other. I told you, these messages are about to tie us together. This is just the beginning, the separation. And those who practice lawlessness, iniquity, and will cast them in a furnace of fire. There will be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Then the righteous will shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. The kingdom that he set up for us from the foundation of the earth. Now his people will be ready to shine like the sun. He who has an ear, let him hear. This is a warning. Make sure you pay attention and listen what he's saying. Matthew 13:44 through 50. And I broke this down before. The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure hidden in a field. When a man found it, he hid it again. And then in his happiness went and sold all that he had and bought the field. So we found out, we awakened. I broke all this down. We found out who we are. We found out the borders, the land belongs to us. So what did we have to do? We had to sell all that we had. We had to sell what we have to come and get this land, get this kingdom. Again, the kingdom of Shamayim is like a merchant looking for fine pearls. When he found one of great value, he went away and sold everything he had and bought it. We sold everything we had, got up out of there, and came within the borders, within the birth canals, in position for the ruling in this next rule that's coming. Once again, the kingdom of Shamayim is like a net that was let down into the lake and caught all kinds of fish. When it was full, the fishermen pulled it up on the shore, then sat down and collected the good fish in the basket, but threw away the bad. So he is separating the good from the bad. This is how it will be at the end of the age. The messenger will come and separate the wicked from the righteous. There you have it. This is the only reason I'm bringing this out here, to show this separation. This separation was always, we were supposed to be separated from the wicked. We are not to be mixed up in the land with all these different nationalities. It's a mess. And throw them into the blazing furnace where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Okay, this is Matthew 25:31 through 34. When the Son of Man comes in his splendor, and all the Kadash messengers with him, then he will sit on the throne of his splendor. All nations will be gathered before him. And why? Why is all nations being gathered before him? He will separate them one from another. So you see, we once again, before the kingdom gets put in place, operation, he is all the people in front of him. He's going to separate them one from another. As a shepherd divides his sheep from the goats, he will also set the sheep on his right hand, the goats on his left. And then the king will say to those on his right hand, "Come, you Barak of my father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world." The foundation of the world, when he began to form and make the world, he had Yasharal on his mind. He had you on his mind. He was creating this land for you. This is what he was doing. This is what it means. Come inherit. It's what he said, prepared for you from the foundation of the world. And this is what it's telling us. Okay, back in the Dead Sea Scrolls. This is the secret of the way. And this is 4Q418, fragment 81. And it's saying once again the same thing. This is the reason why we need to separate. It breaks down why. Why do we need to separate? To give you more what you need. This is more of what you need. It says, open your lips as a spring of Baraka, the Kadash one, and give Yada by the eternal spring. He has separated you from every carnal spirit. So we have been separated from every carnal spirit at this time. Meaning, when we get within the wilderness, when we get where we need to be and we begin to study, we can say he separated us from every carnal spirit. And it will be a time of happiness. He says he said, be separate from everything he hates. This is the reason. This is the reason for the wilderness. Being separated from the world, being separated from abominations, iniquity, lawlessness. He's saying, be separate, excuse me, and be Kadash. This is exactly what the scripture is saying. And he says, and abstain from every abomination of the soul. This is so that we would abstain, not be a part of abominations, things that he hates. This is the reason for this separation. Once we separate, we go into the wilderness, we learn the knowledge, everything gets restored back to us, the language gets restored. We become more Kadash than we could ever imagine. This is his plan. And we will have a different mindset. We will not think the way we think now. Right now, we think against each other because of the system. The system put us against each other. This is why we fight against each other. This is why we hate each other. We awaken only to fight against each other. And this is not his plan for us. And this is something why we're not getting this knowledge, why we're not understanding. When you don't get this knowledge, you will fight your brother and sister. Have no idea why you're fighting each other, and both going to say they are right, they're righteous, and Kadash. I said it before. He does not want us to be fighting each other. There is something coming to the point we're going to need each other, not fight against each other. And this is what's going to be coming forth. It's going to come out what he wants from us, what we're going to have to do. And this will prepare us for this kingdom reign. Right now, we are not prepared. We are not prepared. And we need preparation. This message is a simple message. Separate. And Louis Farrakhan said it correct. Separate or die. Separation or death. This is the conclusion of the be separate.